Godzilla vs. Kong. What exactly do you say about a film like this? It's a hard film to review because there's a question that lingers on my mind with all big monster blockbuster action films like this. If you were holding a film like this to the standard that you might hold an esteemed drama, this film would fall so flat that I would say you shouldn't even watch it. But that's not my recommendation. I don't think that you shouldn't watch Godzilla vs. Kong. I actually think it's a relatively enjoyable film. But when it comes to reviewing, how hard am I supposed to be on it? What exactly does this film want to be? The franchise itself isn't exactly full of philosophical contemplations or heavy themes. So do I judge a film like this based on just the general enjoyability factor? Enjoyability, is that a word? Or do I take a scalpel to it and pick it apart piece by piece? I'm gonna be honest, if we take a scalpel to this film or any of the films in the franchise, you're not gonna like what you find. And honestly, I'm pretty sure 1,000 other YouTubers have done that about every single film in the franchise so far. And if you really want to go that in-depth into the film and pick apart every little flaw as if this film is in the running for an Oscar nomination, then you can go watch those YouTubers, because those videos are going to be great. I love them myself, but I don't know if that's the review that I want to give. So Godzilla vs. Kong is big, dumb, and ridiculous. But the real question is that really a problem? Isn't it okay to have a film be big, dumb, and ridiculous? If we're judging this film against other films that have come in the past that are big, dumb, and ridiculous as well, I think this film stacks up somewhat nicely. It's better than Godzilla 1, it's better than Godzilla 2, and I would even say it's better than Kong Skull Island, though I did prefer a lot of the cinematography from Kong Skull Island and the portrayal of King Kong in general, but that could just be an opinion. I really enjoyed Jordan Vogt Roberts' visual direction, who was the director on Kong Skull Island. I do think while this film had some really beautiful shots, it could have benefited from going even harder than it did in the visual element, which is funny to say because a film like this is almost 90% about visuals, and the film undeniably delivers in that area. If you want to see two monsters fighting each other epically for 2 hours straight, then this movie is for you. They do it well. It is entertaining. I enjoy the set pieces. I think that's obviously going to be the strongest part of a film like this. But is there anything that this film really has to offer past that? No. But did you expect it to? At this point, when these monsterverse films come out, or films in the same genre like the Michael Bay Transformers films, we don't expect a lot as viewers, do we? We kind of just expect to be entertained by epic giant fight scenes and explosions everywhere and just general visual stimulation. However, that doesn't mean that a film like this should throw character and plot to the side entirely, which this film does. But that's also been done in pretty much every MonsterVerse film to this point. So I feel like it's a bit of a tired critique, but just know it's there. The same old problems pervade this film. However, the highs of the action set pieces do cover over a lot of these problems and make the film generally watchable. So yeah, the film is watchable. It's even entertaining if you like that kind of thing. If you're not the type of person that likes just a big, dumb, ridiculous action movie, then you're gonna hate it. Heck, you might hate it anyway, but that's for you to decide. I will start off by admitting that I did not watch this film in theaters, which I think really takes away from a lot of the experience of a film like this, because you really just need that theater sound, that theater screen to really make a film like this work. That being said, it was still enjoyable as a home viewing experience. I know I'm constantly talking about how people should go out to the theaters, and I try to go as often as I possibly can, but I simply couldn't swing it this time, and there just really was no time to get to the theater. So I watched it on a Friday night at my house. Sue me. So what about the plot of this film? It actually works. Just don't look at it too closely. There's not really much there. And there's still really no characters worth watching or caring about on screen, but at this point, do we even care? Millie Bobby Brown has scenes in all of the trailers as though she's a main character of the film, and I guess you could say that, though there are quite frankly a lot of characters that don't really have anything important to do, but it's easy to tell that the Millie Bobby Brown casting is really just to try and pull viewers in, because there's really no reason for this girl to be in this film. And I say that as someone who enjoys her acting. She has nothing of importance to do in this film, and she's frankly just shoehorned into it for what seems like marketing purposes. That aside, pretty much all the other characters of the film have next to nothing to do and no real progression from the beginning to the end. But somehow I'm not really bothered by that, because I came in knowing that that was going to be the case, and with a film like this, the main character is Kong and Godzilla, and I actually think they did a decent job with Kong as a character. The best that you can do. Actually, they probably could have done it better, but they didn't do bad. Is that okay for a milquetoast answer? As with all of these MonsterVerse films, it kind of feels like you sit down and you wait an hour and a half just to get to the climax of the film, which is what you came here for. It's what you've been waiting for the whole time, and you get that delivered to you. The first 30 minutes of the film are kind of boring, mainly because they focus on the plot and the characters that are nearly non-existent, not interesting or well constructed, and there's kind of bad dialogue throughout. But after about the 30-minute mark, things get pretty bombastic, as you would expect a monster movie to, and it's fairly entertaining from there on out. The plot is thin, there's not really much to it, but I thought what they did do with pursuing, without getting into too many spoilers, the sort of hollow earth theory about where Kong and Godzilla came from, and I thought they pulled off that plot element okay. I actually wish they had spent more time there, but that brings me to the more spoilery section of this review. So if you don't want anything spoiled for you, click off now. I'm not gonna go super deep into exactly what happens, but I'm just going to vaguely touch on some subjects. The plot to take Kong back to his sort of homeland in the Hollow Earth is honestly a good one. I really love that. I wanted to see the portrayal that this movie was going to pursue, and it was relatively satisfying. Although I couldn't help feeling like a lot of the first, say, 30 to 45 minutes of the movie were wasted, and some of the end bits where Kong is going to get his super glowing axe that you see in the trailers in the Hollow Earth could have been a lot longer. They could have been filled with more depth. If I was rewriting and restructuring the film, I would actually center the majority of the film around being inside the Hollow Earth and the adventures in there. There's actually potential for the characters and the development, but it's just not pursued. The Hollow Earth sequence kind of just flies by in a few minutes until we're back on the surface and fighting Godzilla, which is fine, but I did feel myself wanting more. All of the new side characters, like the guy who has the Godzilla podcast, who's there for mostly like comedic bits, are more annoying than funny or interesting at all. Even their cardboard personas are useless, like the daughter of our villain who's stuck with some of our main protagonists while Kong is going down to the Hollow Earth is supposed to be some kind of bad, domineering woman who's out here to kick butt, and she's obviously a bad guy, but there's literally no depth to her. Nothing interesting about her, and she's frankly annoying as all get out for every single bit of dialogue that she has in the film, and utterly useless across the board. And I think that's a major character problem of this film. Even the bad characters have very little to do. Most characters are just there along for the ride, which is fine in hindsight. But if you were restructuring this movie to be a well-written story that people can be gripped by, to write characters that people want to follow, you wouldn't do it the way that this film did. But you can trace those problems all the way back to the first movie in this Godzilla reboot. So at this point, you're kind of beating a dead horse. In conclusion, pretty much every aspect of this film that isn't action is boring. I wouldn't say bad, it's not unwatchable, but it's boring. You find yourself waiting most of the film just for that one moment where Kong finally gets his glowing axe and takes it to Godzilla. And that's not a spoiler. They put that scene in the trailers. So yeah, what else is there really to say? Godzilla vs. Kong is everything we expected it to be. Big, dumb, and ridiculous. Is it watchable? Yeah. Is it enjoyable? That really just depends on your tastes. I think it can be enjoyable to a lot of people. Godzilla vs. Kong is entertaining. I would even say it might be worth the price of admission to the theater to see, because the spectacle of these giant monsters just battling it out on screen is worth the price of admission. As with all these MonsterVerse movies, you sit down in the chair and you wait for the end. And I know that seems silly, but it's actually worth the wait. The climax sequence to this film is enjoyable. It's impressive, fun, and gorgeous to look at. If that's not worth your time, then that's up to you. But this has been my review. Thank you guys for watching this video. Be sure to like it, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment down below with things you want to see me review or talk about in the future. And I will talk to you guys in the next video.